How's it going, everybody? It's me, Mr. Shadow here. I am here to tell you a little bit about the game Dead Matter. Not sure if you have heard of it. It's been kind of in development for a while. It actually started out as a mod for Crisis 2, I believe, and it's actually now growing into a real game now that the developers of the mod have come together and built their own studio. Basically, they've been funded for the Kickstarter. They really smashed their goal of getting the amount raised that they needed, and that's good for them. I joined the Discord about the time that it ended, so unfortunately I could not enter in a donation for the game and get some of that sweet backer loot, but I have been able to join the Discord and watch the developers talk to the community, and they're doing a pretty good job of keeping things hush hush. They're not giving away too much, but they are answering a few questions and giving us a bit of an idea of how the world and the game itself is going to feel once it comes out. Now, there are quite a few questions here, and they're not answered all the time. There are short periods where the lead developer, Junie, will open up the Ask Questions section and answer a couple of questions and then close it off again. So we're going to go through and read a few of them that I found interesting. There are going to be no tanks, so don't worry about going down the street and you're a fresh spawn and you see some guys who've been in the server for who knows weeks and have been grinding nonstop and found all the good bases and looted them and has all the tough military armor and vehicles and a shit ton of ammo. Don't worry about that. There's not going to be tanks. Not these characters aren't going to be a tough fight for sure, but the possibility of a Humvee and other armored vehicles are going to be a future endeavor, maybe. But as far as an actual working tank, you don't have to worry about that. Supposedly any vehicle can be damaged to a degree where you can take it out. Just some vehicles will be easier than others. Now, you can find different weapons on zombies. Someone asked, will zombies ever carry weapons? And Junie, the lead developer, answered that with, no, not in their hands at least. So if you're familiar with maybe Dead Island or such, as you know, you can craft various weapons and get a lot of makeshift weapons like electric machetes and fire axes that will do fire damage. So you can probably find some interesting drops on some of the enemy types in the world. Some of the zombies may have a knife sticking out of their chest or something like that, where you can kind of see the story of how at one point they were in a bit of a scuffle with maybe a survivor, and the survivor might not have gotten away, or he might have, and he left his really good fire dagger behind or something like that. So that's just something for you guys to, a bit of incentive to search through as much as you can and maybe find some pretty good, interesting weapons that can help you in your survival. Now, another thing that is pretty good about the game that the developers are releasing is the easy or readily available mod tools. As Junie answer to one question, he would prefer it to be similar to Gary's mod, though, or he would have to see what they can work with as far as mod tools to the community. So hopefully things can be pretty good. We can see some interesting servers and stuff like that. Will you be able to stand up inside of larger vehicles such as vans? Now, he has corrected, you can only stand up in trains, though swapping seats is possible. So that leads me, so yes, we already know that there's going to be planes and trains and automobiles. So that tells me that it can be a pretty good time for anyone who has a train. I'd love to see a group of raiders who have taken over a train and are riding through on the tracks and stopping occasionally to mug people or scavenge, and then back on the train and moving again, and basically are just about untouchable. I'm not sure if there's any way to obstruct the train itself or stop it or how that would work out, but I would love to just see a fight between two groups where one group has to find a way to stop the train or take over the train before the raiders can take off again. That would be a very, very interesting thing to see, and even more fun to play out. Now, someone has brought up that there could be a mental health system in the game. So far, there is not a lot of information on it out right now. As far as I know, maybe it could be a possibility of, say, you kill too many human players or anything like that, and you start to have maybe different sort of cravings food-wise and different buffs and debuffs, obviously, from whatever mental state you're in, or maybe something like GTA 5 Online, where if you are flat out crazy and you're nearby, you kind of give off a warning icon to everyone around you, and maybe there's a sort of a bounty put on your head by the AI, or maybe there's bounties that can be placed by other human players. And that'd be something I'd love to see, actually, is how things work out as far as humans grouping together and how they work. That's the human aspect of zombie survival is always one of the more interesting plots to view. Now, another thing someone has asked is there's going to be crafting for ammunition and bullets. And yes, you can craft certain ammunition for your weapons. Obviously, there's going to be tons of crafting options for both your melee weapons and your firearms. You can put on different barrels. Eventually, there will even be a weapon cleaning mechanic. As far as the weapon cleaning mechanic goes, according to Junie, it will not need to be a routine thing just every once in a while. So maybe after using your weapon for X amount of shots or X amount of days, it comes up and you have to take your weapon back to your base and clean it, or find some way to keep it lubed up. Otherwise, it can malfunction and jam on you, which could be a fun thing to see if you're trying to stick someone up and take the loot, and you're going to be that guy, and even though you got everything, you're going to shoot them in the back, and once you pull the trigger, it just goes click, and they turn around and knock you out. Now, one of the more interesting questions that I've read is someone asking, are there going to be the remnants of the government left? And Junie has responded with, yes, but they'll go away over time. Now, I can't really say for certain what that could mean. Maybe it's like the Center for Disease Control and they are having blockades or quarantine zones, and if you're a fresh spawn, they can pose kind of a challenge, but eventually you'll have the ability to come up and take them out and take their gear and get the hazmat suit and all that. So maybe that could happen, and there's no telling what all you could get from it. There's going to be random encounters with AI spawning. So it could be, say you're going downtown, middle of the night, trying to scavenge, and you come across the CDA fighting the zombies in the streets, and now you're caught up in a three-way battle. So it's totally a random encounter. As I said, we don't know too much about it just yet, but I will keep you posted on any sort of development that comes new. If it's a big piece of information, I will be sure to make a video about it real fast and just give my thoughts and feedback on it. And make sure to tune in to the channel once the game comes out, as I will be playing through it and showing you guys how it actually works out. Thank you all for watching, and if you want more updates, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. As you know, this is my new channel, and I'm trying to grow back up to my original subscriber count, so every little bit helps. And I will see you guys in the next video.